everyone, and welcome to another episode of Digesting Life. I'm your host, Maya Nicole, and today I wanted this episode to be pretty much all about IBS and my journey with it, just so I can get it out of the way because, like I said in my last episode, I don't want the entire podcast to be IBS related. Of course, I'm going to relate to it and have like friends come on and talk about their experiences with IBS, but I don't want to bore you guys with all of those details all the time, and there's only so much you can really talk about with it. So, I really wanted to use this episode to just talk about my entire experience because it has been almost 4 years now dealing with it, and each year has been completely different. So, everything pretty much started my freshman year. I never really had any issues before then, but when you're a freshman on a college campus, you are in a total different environment. Your parents aren't cooking for you anymore. You're not cooking for you anymore, really, because you don't. I mean, we had a kitchen in our dorm, but it was really gross and like floors down from where I was living. And it was just, I mean, it was not easy to keep up with. And you pay for a dining plan anyways, so like, why not use it? So, that's what I was dealing with was like dining hall food most of the time. And I wasn't eating entirely the best the whole time. I definitely like indulged in foods that I wasn't eating at home because I mean, I always joke about this with my mom, but we live in a like ingredient household. There's no snacks, there are no goodies, like, and sometimes we will have those, but I mean, we want to be able to, indulge when we can, not all the time. And the reason being, like, I am super short, like, I'll gain weight really quickly. So, when I got to college, I definitely took some time to enjoy foods that I wasn't having on the regular. And then I enjoyed it too much. And some days, like, I would notice, like, I would be at the dining hall and then, like, eating my meal, and I was like, "Man, like, I need to get home. My stomach hurts." And, like, my friends would notice that I was in the bathroom for a long time, and they'd be like, "Man, like, are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I mean, I think so." And they're like, "Well, we're not in the bathroom, like, 30 minutes at a time." And that's probably an exaggeration, but it's like, it felt like that, and not only to me, but to my friends, so it's like, it was just that happened over and over again to the point where I was like, "Maybe something is wrong," like, maybe you shouldn't be, speed walking home from a dining hall to get to the bathroom. So then my sophomore year, I moved into an apartment and like we were finally able to like cook our meals and I didn't have a meal plan, at least I don't think. I might have had like, some extra dollars, like we called them dining dollars at my school. So like sometimes if I were on campus, I would use that, but I didn't have like a full meal plan. So I was cooking most of the time. But my freshman year, I had gained a lot of weight. Like I said, I was eating a lot, but then my sophomore year, I was like, okay, like I need to chill. And also, things were starting to hurt my stomach so much. Like, it was so weird. It was like one day, like, it all hit me so hard. I had never been in that much pain before. And then I thought I had food poisoning. I remember I had like a sub from like Jersey Mike's, and I thought I'd been food poisoned. But then ever since that day, like, I had had so many problems with my stomach from then on. And I was like, well, it can't be like a food poisoning situation because that shouldn't last this long. So then I started having like chicken and rice, and I would make it in like wraps, and I would put like cheese in it, sometimes lettuce just to give it flavor, like and extra stuff in it as well. But um, then, after a while, it was just like I wanted to eat other stuff, but that stuff kept killing me. And then, like I said in my first episode, I had chicken and rice so much that that started killing my stomach. And I was like, well, what am I supposed to eat? Because it seems like there are no safe foods right now. So then I finally took it upon myself to go see a GI doctor. And he had me do every single type of test, and this went from my sophomore year to my junior year. And once you're like in your college experience, like in your sophomore year, junior year, like school gets harder. There's a lot more stress. I was also working while going to college, so that was stressful. And it's like the more stress you have, the more your stomach hurts. And then if you eat something bad, then you're stressing about your stomach hurting because of what you just ate. And it's like a whole cycle and it's really bad. So my doctor, he had me do a lot of these different tests. And first, when they're trying to figure out what's going on with you, they have you do stool samples, and it's typically three, just to like three within a year to like really rule that out, make sure there's nothing going on like that you wouldn't find out without a stool sample. They have you do blood work. They have you do like food sensitivity tests, and you just prick your finger and send it off to a lab. And it's weird, like nothing came up as sensitive other than I think dairy. But I mean, my whole family, like we're all lactose intolerant, so like that wasn't surprising to me. But nothing was coming back positive for anything. And we thought I had celiac disease. And so for like an entire month, they had me eat gluten free. That didn't do anything. And then I found out I didn't have celiacs, and I was like, what? Okay, what did I just do all of that for? And then I've also tried to go vegetarian to see if any of that would help. That didn't help me. And then it was finally my junior year when they had me do an endoscopy. They didn't find anything. And then they had me do a colonoscopy. And I was 19 when all of this stuff was happening. And this all started when I was like 17, 18. So I had a colonoscopy at 19, which is absolutely insane that people, that age are now having to have that. And now more than ever, it's like super common nowadays. I know so many young people who have had colonoscopies, which is just absurd. But nothing came back from the colonoscopy, and it was just really frustrating. It was like, well, what? Like, if I don't have colitis, Crohn's disease, celiac disease, like, then what is wrong with me? And they just narrowed it down to IBS, and I was like, okay, so what's the cure? Like, what do you do? And they're like, oh, like, there is no cure. You just pretty much learn to live with it. And I was like, oh, perfect. Sounds so fun. And, it's definitely gotten better now. Like, I mean, they tried to have me do some food diets. Like, I tried the low FODMAP diet, if that's how you pronounce it. But, you know, more chicken and rice until that started hurting again. But, you know, there's not a ton of safe food options to cycle in between, especially not for me. A lot of things are just like hard to eat and hard to digest. They also, I forgot to mention, they had me do a test to see if I was actually digesting food in time that I needed to digest it. I think it was called a gastric emptying test, and that lasted like 4 hours. You do it in the hospital, and they feed you this like these eggs with this like glowy stuff in it, and then like some bread and jelly, and you eat it, and they watch it go down you, which was really cool. It was just at 6 a.m., which really sucked, but that came back normal too. And so it was really frustrating. And of course, I'm really grateful to not have anything crazy, like cancer and like Crohn's disease. Like I know so many people who have that, and I just can't imagine. But when they tell you there is nothing you can do about IBS and you just pretty much live to deal with it, it's kind of disheartening because, you know, it's hard. And that's another thing I wanted to talk about was like your life really does change when you have like digestive health issues of any kind. One thing that I had to learn for myself was like I have to sit out of things a lot. And, it was especially hard this past summer. I had an internship in Los Angeles, and, I went out there with like I think 19 other complete strangers. So that was already like nerve-wracking as it is, but I knew three of the other girls or four of the other girls pretty well like before because we had some like we had some team bonding exercises before flying out to LA. So like I knew them well enough and then there were a lot of things that we had planned. It was like our entire week for 2 months was booked. We were there for 2 months and we were doing internships and school all while exploring LA. So it was really scary and I did it just to get out of my comfort zone, like, and also get experience in my field. But I really was like, I want to go out of my way all the way across the country to see if I can like handle something like this. And I mean, I was pretty hard on myself. I thought I didn't handle it very well, but I mean, it's hard because a lot of the time I had stomach aches and it was like much worse than that, but it's like sometimes it was really bad and I'd have IBS attacks like during really important things. Like I remember on the 4th of July, we went to the Hollywood Bowl and we watched the Beach Boys and I was having a great time the entire time. And then the second we had to leave, there was so much traffic, like backed up for like an hour, couldn't get out of there because everyone in Los Angeles is there. And so I started freaking out because I was like, oh my God, my stomach kind of hurts. I'm not getting out of this place anytime soon. And they locked the bathrooms up. And I was like, why would you literally do that? There are thousands of people still here. So I freaked out naturally and started stressing out about it. And I had an IBS attack, and there were no bathrooms, and I just started sobbing. And I'm so thankful for the girls that I went to LA with because they were there in support of me the whole time, like holding me while I was crying because like it's so hard to explain the pain that you're going through. But it's like at one point you feel like you like explain it, but it's not really being understood as more than a stomach ache. Like people just think like, oh, her stomach hurts. Like, no, this is like, holy shit, am I like not gonna make it, you know? So, and it's really scary because you're like, what if I don't? And then like that's so dehumanizing and just terrifying. So the girls were really sweet, and they really helped me out with that and feel less, shameful and just, guilty for missing out on things. There were a lot of things that I had to miss out on. They went on this really fun trip to some island that you had to take a boat to, and it was like an hour-long boat trip, and then they were there the whole day, and I had to miss out because I had an IBS attack in the morning just thinking about it. So it's like there's a lot of things that you have to miss out on just because you're either freaking out already that you have to do it, or your stomach already hurts and then you start freaking out about it and then it makes it worse. Another thing that I really wanted to talk about was, people not understanding and like making fun of the like situation that you're in. This has happened a lot, even from my own friends. And, I've gotten backhanded comments like, why are you always sick? Or why does your stomach always hurt? Or, like, oh, are you canceling because your stomach hurts or do you just not want to go? And I'm like, dude, like, I would love to do anything. I'm 21. I'm so young. I want to like have all these experiences, but my stomach literally holds me back sometimes. And it's like, nobody understands it until they have it. And like even like one of my friends, she has recently just gotten diagnosed with IBS, and like in the beginning, like she was like, oh, like this doesn't feel right, and then it got worse and it got worse, and she told me, she was like, you are right, like you don't understand it until you feel it. And it's unfortunate because I don't want anyone to ever feel like this. Like I don't want to feel like this myself, but it's like, your own friends and like just people making comments about, oh, does your stomach actually hurt or is it just a stomach ache? It's like, I really wish sometimes people could feel it at least just once so that they could understand because, you know, your stomach literally has like contractions when this stuff happens. And I don't know if I mentioned this in my first episode, but IBS attacks feel different for everybody. But I just had a talk with one of my friends about this because I never knew what this feeling was that I was feeling in my stomach. But it's like when you're sitting down and your stomach muscles relax, it just kind of lets go. Um, your stomach fat kind of collects when you're like sitting down, like in a bent over position. So when I'm having an IBS attack and I'm sitting in that position, my stomach literally like contracts and pushes in on itself. And apparently, it can push on this vagus nerve and cause people to faint. And I know a girl, she told me that she has fainting spells all the time because of this. And I've never fainted. I've only ever been like really dizzy or just kind of like, like seeing dark spots. But it's like, I thank God I've never fainted because that's insane. But it's like things like that can happen and it's like so painful. It feels like you can't breathe. You get really hot and really cold and you get these sweats and it's just like so not fun. And it's like sometimes the pain spreads to my lower back or like down my thighs. It's so bad. And I'm so thankful to not have had an IBS attack that bad in a while. At this point now, I'm doing a lot better than I was. I'm trying to not let myself freak out about things as much because, like I hate to bring up New Year's resolutions, but like my resolution was just to stop letting IBS control my life because I've done that for like the last 3 years and it's just so annoying. It's like, okay, yeah, I have to travel however far away and do all this stuff all day and feel good all day, but it's like if I freak out and think about that too much, I'm not even gonna make it out the door. So it's like I'm trying to get to the point where I can just try because, it's really important that people with digestive health issues know that like going to the bathroom's not weird. And I'm really shy, but it's like I'm really shy in the bathroom, but it's like ever since having these issues, like I have to not be because an IBS attack can literally come out of nowhere from eating like a piece of bread. So it's like I just need to remember like everybody uses the bathroom and nothing about that is weird. It's like get over yourself. Like the person next to you is probably dying even worse. You never know. So I just want to bring that up because, a lot of people are very shy. I mean, I know a lot of like pee shy people. So it's like I just think that people need to stop freaking out and just go about their business so that they can, you know, live the rest of their day just as if nothing's ever happened. And that's something that it took a long time to get through and it still does. Sometimes I'm like, "Oh no, like public restrooms," but you got to do what you got to do or you're going to be in pain like all day. So, I would say like as of now, my IBS attacks have been about once to 3 times a month, if that, and which is crazy because my IBS attacks used to be like 3 to 5 times a week, and it would just take me out of work, it would take me out of school, like it would really affect me. So I'm really grateful that like I've figured some things out now, and my mom and we both have been trying to take aloe, like shots of aloe juice before meals or before anything important, just in case, because aloe is actually really good for your gut, and I never knew that. And I've been drinking like things that are supposed to be good for gut health, eating things that are supposed to be good for gut health. Like there are actual products being made for that stuff nowadays. But yeah, like nowadays, like it's not that bad. It's just sometimes it just isn't amazing. And I don't think it's ever going to be amazing. It's just where I'm at right now is way better. So I'm super grateful for that. And also, like for work, I was really afraid post grad about work because I was like, oh my God, how am I supposed to work like a 40-hour a week job if I like my stomach hurts all the time? And I was lucky enough to find a place that is hybrid. So I'm in the office 2 days a week and out of the office, like in my own like house, 3 days a week. So that was perfect for me because it's been like allowing me to like try and experiment with new foods while I'm in the office at home. And then like I obviously like on the days where I'm in the office, my office is an hour away from me. So I try to be really careful the night before and the day of when eating there because I don't want to have a stomach ache far away from my house. But even if I do, it's okay, but I just prefer not to. So I try to stay safe with that. The next thing I wanted to talk about was throughout this whole process, I know I've mentioned like how I know a lot of people with IBS or some type of digestive health issue. And I think, it's so great that I've been able to form a sense of community through these people. I mean, I think I mentioned in my last episode, like my boyfriend and I literally, like in the very beginning of like even meeting each other, we related about our stomachs, like our stomach issues and like my family and I, like, we've really resonated with a lot of the stuff that's been going on. My friends and I, like, we always talk about this stuff, I mean, uh, every day someone's like, oh, my stomach hurts. But it's like, it's more comforting knowing that you're not in it alone. And especially, it's unfortunate, but a lot of young people now are dealing with digestive health related stuff. So it's like, it's really nice to be able to talk to somebody about it and not feel awkward or weird because I mean at this point I'm an open book. I will tell everybody the gory details like if they're comfortable, but it's like I've had so many people tell me all these details about their issues because like they're like, oh, did this happen to you? And I'm like, yup. Like, and it's just nice to be able to bounce off of each other because it makes you feel so much less alone. And I think that's been really important for me because like it was really a lonely feeling in the very beginning because, like I mentioned, people were making fun of the issue and even people at my old job were like, she's probably just like leaving early because she wants to or all this stuff, like making up stuff. And I'm like, dude, like I wish you could see what just happened in that bathroom, but that would be unethical. So anyways, it's like people just didn't want to believe that it could be more than a stomach ache. Okay, so I think I've talked about this long enough, but I think it's really important to just raise awareness to the situation because, a lot of people had no idea that this was the kind of stuff that I or like other people were going through like daily. And, like sometimes I have to plan my day and my meals based off of my stomach. And I'm not trying to sound like I'm complaining throughout this video, but I just want to like bring awareness because a lot of people have no idea the type of pain and all the differences, like just from a stomach ache to like a IBS attack. So I think that's everything that I wanted to talk about, but I just want to emphasize the fact that like if you're going through stuff like this, like don't be like hesitant to reach out to somebody because like it took me a really long time to even get myself to go to the doctor about it. I was really, really embarrassed to even talk about it. And when you go to a GI doctor, they're like, okay, tell me all the like gory details. And I'm like, oh, I don't know about that. But it's like it took me a while to open up even with my doctor. I think I didn't open up until like 4 episodes later or 4 episodes later. Okay. I'll try and rewind that wherever fits best. I honestly think it took like 4 visits with my doctor to even get comfortable enough to speak about half the things that was going on. But with that being said, I really would hope that after listening to this, like someone who may be dealing with these issues, or if you know someone who is, like maybe you'd feel a little more comfortable going to talk to somebody about it because it gets worse sometimes, and having someone or a doctor there to talk to about it helps so much and it helps ease your mind. So yeah, I think that's pretty much everything I wanted to talk about. But thank you guys so much for listening and tune in next week on Digesting Life. Bye.